You just don't understand who I am. I will make something out of myself no matter what.
Ksenia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Our work begins when others say that's enough. It really was years and years and years of working and grinding and really not having any kind of proof that it's going to work out.
We are all meant for something much more than we give ourselves credit for. And I think a lot of people don't pull at the thread.
People live comfortably uncomfortable. You become so comfortable not doing what you may be meant to do.
There was no plan B. And that doesn't mean that you don't evolve.
I paid this astrologer and I was like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, exactly what you're doing is going to lead you to where you need to be. And I said, are you fucking kidding me? I paid you money for this? We always have to push boundaries of what we know because we know one thing. We don't really know anything.
You came to America with nothing. You are the co-founder of a successful company. How do you view money?
I look at money as energy. You know how many times starting this business, people told us, that's impossible. 99% of businesses fail.
I love when people try to tell me I can't do things. All the it girls are obsessed with Berber. I've been using it for my slick backs. Before I do my blowouts, I put it in my hair. And the brushes are insane.
In America, we have 7-step skin routines, but nobody takes care of scalp. So scalp is skin, so it's going to age. How do you take care of your hair and of your scalp?
I think when you expand what you know to be true, you can do more than you think you're ever capable of.
I'm a living, breathing example that you can persevere. Just think big.
You're listening to How I See It, hosted by Han. You guessed it, that's me. I am here to motivate and inspire you with guests from all different industries and backgrounds. So get ready for personal stories of success, of growth, full of highs and lows, and of course, unapologetic realness. This is How I See It.
You guys, Ksenia Zaytseva is here. She is the co-founder of Berber, a hair care line powered by plants, perfected by science, and rooted in a mission that she's going to get into today. All the it girls are using Berber, including myself. It's available at Nordstrom, Revolve, Forward. And I'm excited that she's here today to share with you guys. So Ksenia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
I know. I truly have to tell you. Okay, so after getting to know you in Aspen, and then I saw you again at Paisley's event. And we obviously had a conversation before this interview about your story and kind of how you've built what you have. I just have to tell you how impressed I am by you. I think you're incredibly impressive. I'm so excited for people to hear your story today. But you told me the other day that 90% of people are ready to give up. And when that happens, you're just getting started. I need you to expand on that.
That was my teacher used to say, I think he still says that. Our work begins when others say that's enough. And that really stuck with me. I feel like it's natural to want to give up when things become very overwhelming or difficult. And that was the reminder for me to keep going. And I really love that line.
Yeah, I feel like it's very much who I am too. And I think it's, if we were to pick a saying that embodied kind of your energy, my energy, and the people who are actually very successful and keep going, it's this. It's when everybody else is ready to give up, we're not. We're just getting started.
You got to keep going because what if you gave up just and success was around the corner? That's how it was for us. It really was years and years and years of working and grinding and really not having any kind of proof that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But my gut feeling was telling me that I have to keep going. And I have the most incredible partner, co-founder, Anna. Two of us were really like a union.
Well, I think that this kind of mentality doesn't just start with business. I think it's something that, you're either born with or it's something you have to build up a tolerance through based on your story. So take us back. You grew up in Russia. Tell us everything. Take us back. Because I'm assuming the story of growing up there, moving to the US is kind of what gave you this mentality of I don't give up.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Moscow. In Russia, I met Anna when we were 8 and we became best friends.
Aww.
But my mom was a single mom working. I was very close with my grandma. My father was in my life, but didn't live with us. And she was often absent. So when I was 16, this thought came to my mind, oh my God, I have to move to America. I have to move somewhere where I can take an opportunity and turn it into something where I can make my dreams come true.
Did you not feel like you could do that there?
I feel like Russia is very it's a difficult country to do it. I feel like maybe now it changed. I haven't been there in a very long time. But growing up, it really depends which family you're born, and it's harder for women, much harder for women than it is for men. And I think your talents can only get you that far. And I felt too big. My personality was too big for quite suppressed culture. So I decided to move.
Yeah. You just decided.
It made no sense. I didn't know any English.
Insane.
Yeah, I didn't have like savings or anything. So my first job I got at 16, I was a hostess at this restaurant in Moscow. And I saved up some money for exchange program. Stayed for a couple of months, worked at in New York and Coney Island and Nathan's Hot.
Oh my gosh, and no English.
Yeah, they fired me pretty quick because of that. But then I came back. So then I went back home, kind of gathered myself and came back. And
wow.
If you would ask me to give you a step-by-step to repeat how I've done that, I don't know.
I think it's just like natural audacity. And I know you said like your mom wasn't as present, but do you feel like, you said your grandma, like, did your grandma empower you to kind of like have the confidence and, you know, just believe in yourself to like be capable of more? Because I think like at that age, like it has to be something you either are doing because you're trying to prove someone wrong, or it's because you naturally have this confidence because you were in an environment where people weren't trying to keep you small. And I think you recognized maybe that your external was like small and like someone like you was never going to be able to build in that environment.
Yeah, I think like Russia is a very homogeneous society, so it's so difficult to think big, you know, because you see generations and generations showing you that, no, stay small. And of course, I'm talking broadly. My grandma was such an incredible woman. Her and my grandpa met building a rocket, like the spaceship.
What?
Yeah, they were like incredible engineers. But to answer your question, I think she empowered me because I think she was a living example of not succumbing to the expected.
Yeah.
And she was so cool and so powerful.
Was your mom supportive too?
No, she wanted to create a safe environment for me where I go to school and study something that will kind of surely will bring me income. But I remember our fight right before I moved. I said, you just don't understand who I am. I will make something out of myself no matter what. And you have to see that. And I think that at that time, it didn't click for her, but hopefully now it did.
I think so. When you get to a certain age and you look back, you realize that your parents are just like human too.
Yeah.
And like maybe you brought up like an insecurity for her. Like maybe she wanted to like, you know, have the courage to do that and like you did.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something to be said about having like a deep knowing inside that you're meant for more. I think I felt that like even in my mental health journey when I was so depressed and I was so anxious and I wasn't being productive, I was like, this is not who I'm supposed to be. And I think I can say like I looked at, you know, my parents worked really hard growing up and having that example maybe helped, but it's something inside too that I don't know. Maybe some people are born with that.
I don't know. How would you explain it? Is it like almost like a thread that you know, because I've been in dark places too, moving to another country that comes with whole lots of
fucking bad.
Yeah, a lot of heavy stuff. But I don't know, how would you describe it? To me, it was like a thread that I was like, I keep holding to that.
It was just like a deep knowing. Like I don't know how to describe it besides like I felt this like conviction that I was like not doing what I was supposed to do, that I wasn't like living to my potential.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel this. I actually think we are all meant for something much more than we give ourselves credit for. And I think a lot of people don't pull at the thread you're talking about.
Another thing, my teacher is just going to be a star of the show, but he always said comfortably uncomfortable. People live comfortably uncomfortable. You become so comfortable not doing what you may be meant to do. He was talking about like physicality as well, but I think that's true. Like you just get to be kind of like, okay, well, I guess like, that's it.
Yeah.
And you feel maybe a pull, but pull becomes slower, like a lesser and lesser and lesser. And maybe at some point.
Yeah,
you
well, the
lose it.
pull comes with risk.
Yeah.
And I think to your point and your teacher's point, and we say here all the time on the podcast, you have to get uncomfortable for the sake of real comfortability.
Yeah.
And I think people convince themselves that like the state they're living in is good. It is comfortable. But I do think if there's something deeply inside of you that's longing for more, like I would argue you're not.
Yeah.
You're not comfortable.
No.
You're just not taking risks. And I think if there's anyone who could speak to this, it's you. Because I'm going to make you tell more of your story because it's insane. You go to New York, you don't speak any English, you're literally a teenager, and you start trying to get jobs? Like that takes serious courage. You are like risk averse. Like I can tell
I have
you
a
will
high
just
tolerance.
do it. You have a high tolerance. Where do you live? Where do you go? You don't even speak English. Like, are you scared? Like, what's going on in your head?
Yeah, I think it's kind of you like kind of high and blacked out in a way. You just
It was traumatic. You just blocked it out.
You just go. When you're in situations where there's only one path and it's forward, you must take that path because or you're stuck. And I had to shelter myself. I had to do something. Like I had to find an apartment. So I called a friend. I said, hey, I'm here. Like I came back. Do you have anything for rent? I had $800. I remember. And I came with a friend second time. And he's like, okay, I don't know. I have to check. It was like 10 p.m. Like my plane was arriving late and just get a hotel. So we got some weird motel at Shipshead Bay. It was so bizarre. It was like murders probably happened there. It was scary. And next morning he calls me and he says, okay, I have this studio, like basement. You can rent it for $800. And I was like, okay, we'll take it. I started looking for a job. Yeah, I had a lot of different jobs, different jobs, but I always wanted to be in film. So that was my path. I was like, okay, I'm going to find a job in film because I think film represented a lot of visual arts. I love art and everything visual, photography, films, movies.
It's scary enough having to make your way in the world and like try to make money and not know anyone and move to a different state, but you actually didn't even speak English. Did you like just learn from other people and then try to like wing it and then like try to save money? Like what was your plan?
I think I'm pretty good like imitating. So I learned really quick. And my friend spoke more English than me. And I remember calling like sushi restaurant trying to order food and couldn't even explain that I need to order food. And I was like, started crying. I had a whole breakdown about that. But I think I surrounded myself. Shipshead Bay, it's a Russian neighborhood. So I remember being comfortable in like going to a store and talking Russian. And then I realized, okay, I actually need to put myself in a comfortable situation to needing to speak English. So I need a job that primarily people speak English, right? And I started doing that, or find friends that speak only English and ask them to teach me. One thing about me, I think that is a good quality. I am not afraid to be made fun of. Like, I don't care if you're laughing at me because my desire for something is stronger than my fear to look ridiculous.
Love. Yeah. Same.
You know what I mean?
Same. I think it's why I always say like we're unapologetic. Like you have to be unapologetic. And I think unapologetic is just getting aligned with your authentic self. And when you are authentically showing up as you and you're like getting shit done, you're in a different country trying to make your way. Like you don't give a fuck if someone like is laughing at you.
No, I'm like, okay, I'm saying it wrong. And people, of course, people made fun of me and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you, first of all, says a lot about you.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to learn and I know I need to, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
So how do I get there? Okay, first step, let's learn some English. So it didn't really matter to me. So I was making mistakes over and over and over and over again. And then I remember I was dating this guy and we went to see Social Network. He took me to the movie theater. Again, another breakdown. I think I was sitting there, literally, I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And that's already like a couple of years in, I think. Like, I was like, I don't know, I can't watch, like, it's too much information at once, too fast. And I remember that was a moment for me. I was like, okay, I need to go to school. So I enrolled myself in English school.
It's so impressive. I know I keep saying it. It's just, to me, I'm so in awe of that because, like, of course, I've had to, like, overcome trauma and a lot of fucking shit, but I have not had to do that. And I think you threw yourself into the deep end. You didn't have a plan B. And I was talking in actually a college class the other day. I got invited to like go talk. It was
Tell
so
me
much
how
fun.
it was.
It was so cool.
Really?
I wanted to talk about, it was a business professionalism class. And I was talking about like the importance of vulnerability in business and how things are changing. If you show up as yourself, your authentic self, and you show people that you care about what they're doing, you're going to get so much more done. More money, more relationships, more connections, and you'll feel better about business. Yeah. So I was talking about those things, but I heard it kind of just like fell out of my mouth. I was like, for me, there was no plan B. Yeah. It was always my plan. And that doesn't mean that like you don't evolve. You roll with it, but I think there was always never a plan B. I was scared, but I was never going to allow myself to quote unquote fail. I just like kept rolling with the punches. And it sounds like that's what you did too.
You have to keep going, because I remember I paid this Vedic astrologer and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I'm overwhelmed. Do I do this or do I do that or do I do this? And he said, so remember, he's like, exactly what you're doing is going to lead you to where you need to be. And I said, are you fucking kidding me? I paid you money for this? I said, no, tell me. And he's like, exactly what are you doing? You must do all these things that you feel passionate about. And only now it makes sense, because the amalgamation of this thing, of all the things that I love about life and what made me and shaped me, is exactly needed in Berber.
Yeah.
To make it successful. Yeah. And it's incredible. Like all of I was a photographer. I was making films. I was an assistant. I was this. I was working in restaurants. I was doing so many things that eventually led me to this.
Well, you were doing what you had to do. And I think I see a lot of people who are trying to start businesses, or even like people who are trying to embark on like their own healing, and they're looking too far in the future and they're trying to outplan and write down every step and try to figure out how they're going to get from point A to like Z, instead of just trying to get from point A to B. Yeah. And it sounds like you just were like, I'm going to show up every day and try to make money and get one step closer to my goal.
That's actually a good way to put that. You are not getting from A to Z. You are getting from A to B and then to C. That's very difficult, because we want everything now, fast. For me, at least, it was long, and then it just sped up. And all the experience that I had, now I had to hold on and use it in this very fast moment of my life.
Yeah, well, you're working every single day, little by little, in the hopes that you're going to eventually get to a place where all the work you've put in pays off. The sped up moment.
Exactly. And you have no proof that it will. And you're just like, you kind of have to be delusional. If I really was thinking, okay, logically, it's not really possible. It's not really possible, or it doesn't make sense. If I was operating from a logical standpoint, I would never get where I'm at. Sometimes we defy logic.
Yeah, well, I think if we didn't, like, everyone would be doing mundane shit. I think if you stay in the bounds of what you think is possible, you're never going to achieve greatness.
And discoveries would never be made. You know, we would just be stagnant. Yeah. We always have to push boundaries of what we know, because we know one thing. We don't really know anything. Yeah. We really are just, like people like to say, on a rock floating in space. What do we really know?
Yeah, no, totally. So when you were in New York and really going through it, you were having these like mini breakdowns, I'm assuming, getting fired from jobs because you couldn't speak English, and then you're just trying to make way. What do you think got you through?
I'm lucky to have people that really believed in me and stepped up when I really needed. I told you about when I lived on a couch, the person had almost nothing to give, yet he opened his home to me, and really like basically both poor and trying to like, no, we're gonna make it. I just remember sitting like in the most probably difficult moment of my life and thinking, okay, well, I left my family, and if I just go back and if I don't do anything with it, if I live a regular life that I could live in Russia, why the sacrifice of living people that I love? I must do something. Then why? I could have just stayed. And that was a motivational factor as well. I've experienced so much. I can't just let it like go astray.
Like, what was the point?
Yeah, what was the point? And I kept going, and I was like, okay, I don't know what step is going to be next, but it's going to be, I'm going to move.
I do think like a lot of people have told themselves and sold themselves the idea that like, well, I don't have that. I'm not capable of that. Or I don't have money. I don't have resources. I can't possibly do that. I think listening to someone who maybe like grew up the way I did, more like privileged, like my dad helped me out, got me on my feet, paid for my college. Like I've worked really hard, but like I've had privilege. It's harder to like hear someone like me say that versus someone like you.
Yeah.
Like if you can do it, everyone can do it.
Yeah, I really do believe that whatever world tells you you can't, you must just prove that you can and listen to yourself. You know, one of my favorite books is Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. I think I'm pronouncing it right. And the essence of the story is his friend Govinda asks Siddhartha, it's not Buddha, it's just the guy Siddhartha, to go and follow Buddha because Buddha is all-knowing person and we must follow him because he preaches. And the point of the story, Siddhartha says, well, Buddha is amazing and Buddha is Buddha and all-knowing. Even Buddha doesn't know what is inside of me, what I know. And I always thought it's so cool because you know what is next step. You know your capabilities. Even if the most smartest person tells you, no, you can't. You know, if that's inside of you and you believe in yourself, everything is possible. Truly. Yeah. I really believe that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, you can be from environment where all the odds are against you. And you still can do it. Like, I think a lot of the odds were against me and I was just moving one step at a time. And I was like, okay, that was like difficult, but you know, we're on the other side now. Yeah. Okay, we're on the other side. That like a little proofs that, okay, maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah. I was listening to the Diary of a CEO podcast recently, and one of the Shark Tank guys was on there, Mr. Wonderful, the bald guy. And I was just listening to him. I love listening to people who are fucking genius, smart business people just talk because I'm like, I'll learn something, even if it's a smidge. And he was talking about his time working for Steve Jobs. And he was talking about how like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, these like people who are just very high level executors have all one thing in common. And it's that they can separate signal from noise. Wow. And he says that like signal is essentially like the things you have to do that day in that moment to get things to move forward. And noise is like social life, like outside things or the things that like are mundane or the tasks that keep you busy but aren't productive. And he said a lot of people get stuck in the noise and the people who execute, who build, who get over their situation are the people who can have 80-90% like signal. They just like execute. And I think it's what we're talking about. Like if you make a choice every day, and I think this is more natural for some people. Like we're talking about how both of us were born with this like itch and knowing that we're supposed to, you know, pursue more.
When did you feel that? Did you always feel that?
I think as a young girl, but I truly think that, and this is why I think that, you know, in the long run, a lot of the trauma and like chaos I experienced at a young age, I'm actually pretty thankful for. I think when you go through shit, you're more wise and you're more in tune.
For sure.
And so I think maybe like, yes, maybe it's inside me and I was born like this, but I also think there's a level of like when you've been through shit, you just see things a little bit clearer. But I do think that it's what we're talking about. Like if you can choose, again, if you're born with it, if it's more natural for some people, fine. But I think if you want it to become natural for you, if you want anything, you can develop a skill. And I think if you show up each day, whether it's emotionally, mentally, actually, logistically, and like do the things you have to do that day to move the needle, you will look back at the end of the year, or in our case, you sitting and recording this podcast, looking back and be like, wow, like I catapulted myself forward by doing the things I needed to do every single day. And I think you do the things you need to do every single day by pushing through your mindset, the things that are telling you you can't do it.
I absolutely agree with you. I think everything starts here. And it's, like you said, it's a decision you make and then exercising that decision. And every day, like the bad day or good day, because usually it's like, oh, on a good day is easier, you know, but like, how about on a bad day? Exercise that on a bad day. You must put effort and you must put conscious effort into doing something.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Totally. Well, and I think like looking back now, I think it only takes like 1, 2, 3, 4 times of really showing yourself what you're capable of, I can look back at my history and be like, okay, you've overcome this, this, this. You can do this. This is like easy. You can do this. And you prove to yourself. You give yourself proof to your
You have historical data that you can actually do that. But in the beginning, you don't.
We're not meant to be comfortable.
Yeah.
It's natural. And it's a part of the human experience to feel sadness, anger, anxiety. Those are normal. I always say like the signals that our body gives us, like anger, sadness, anxiety, nervousness, fear, are not signals to stop. They're just signals. And you have to be able to acknowledge them and move forward.
That's so cool you talk about this. There was an instant last weekend we were talking in front of, I think it's going to be related to this, in front of like 600 people at Nordstrom, just presenting our products. And while I think I'm okay, but in public speaking, but of course, in front of 600 people, if you don't practice all the time, public speaking,
or your body's going to naturally react.
Yeah. So I was listening about a podcast about public speaking, and this woman said, you just must reframe it in your brain. You know, my heart is beating faster. But reframe it as like, wow, I'm excited. I'm alive. Instead of, being paralyzed by fear, frame it into your brain that it's actually exciting. And you actually you cannot wait to go on stage and tell people about something that's dear to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Okay, that makes complete sense. It's a small change, but it changes a lot. It changes your perception of the situation.
Our body is supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
Like its natural instinct is to like protect us. But a lot of the times we don't need that. And it's natural. And you just have to be able to take a moment, kind of like, I always say like matrix yourself, like pull yourself out of your body and be like, okay, this is normal. And also, I need to move forward.
Anytime I would be in a difficult situation or something, I was like, okay, yes, I'm experiencing all these emotions, but it means I'm alive. I'm going through it. I feel things. Okay, how can we not go down the rabbit hole and actually take this experience and use it usefully?
Take me back to the story. So you leave New York and end up in LA. How?
I got a job and it seemed like I'm living my dream. I got a job being a camera operator on a documentary.
Wow.
I was like, okay, like I'm there, I'm living my dream. And unfortunately, we had to pivot because I found myself in a very uncomfortable situation with a producer who kind of like, I was in his house. He made me feel really uncomfortable, kind of cornered me, trying to push himself on me.
Oh my God.
And it was pretty traumatic. And I remember like thinking that something is going to happen, that I really didn't want to be in that situation.
Like you thought you were going to get assaulted.
Yeah, I was going that way. And I was like, wow, I need a break from this industry. I don't know if I can do that. It was just so dirty, and
that's so sad.
Like it was kind of also crushing my dreams. I thought that I got that job because of my talents, but perhaps it was because he already had plans to make some,
that's
moves.
awful. I'm so sorry. Not shocking, unfortunately, but I can imagine that like you had to go through a level of grief after that, not just because you experienced a trauma, but again, because this was your dream.
Yeah. It really put a pause on pursuing it. And I always felt like I'm going to get back to it. And I am now. Like now I'm doing more stuff for Berber. I co-directed beautiful commercial for Berber. And it was an amazing experience. And I'm so looking forward to many more of those. But I was like, what am I doing here? Why did I move? Like, I feel stupid. I feel silly and all of those things.
It's one of those moments like we talked about where like, you don't give yourself a plan B, but you're willing to evolve and like roll with the punches. And I can imagine in that moment, it was kind of like a dark time for you because you're like, this is everything that I've worked for. Like everything I did in New York, living on people's couches, working these shitty jobs, like trying to make it. I finally got my dream. And then it feels like it was taken from you. How did you cope during that time?
Oh my God, it was so long ago. I think I just...
how old were you at this point?
Like 25, 26. Okay. I just shut down. I think I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong. I decided to pivot. I was like, okay, what's next? I need a job. So I got a job at Roosevelt Hotel as it was a summer job. I was a hostess because I was always personable, very good with people. So I got hired. And 3 months later, they promoted me. I started doing events. And then they were like, okay, I was very creative. I was helping with creative parts and photography and all of that. And that's how I kind of started transitioning into photography and graphic design and branding and all of that, which is a great skill to develop when you starting your business. That helped us a lot and saved us a lot of money. But yeah, I just kind of went on with life and was trying not to dwell too long on that.
You don't let the world limit you.
No.
You don't. You're very good at, even like 5 seconds ago, you're like, I'm still going to like maybe be a director. Like I'm still going to do that.
I want to definitely. It's something that I always felt drawn to. And film and theater, I love it. I love it dearly so much.
I know. I love that we're both theater girls.
Yeah, I studied it I studied method acting for 10 years. I don't believe that there's rules to how things have to be. There would be no moving forward in humanity, no discoveries if things were finite. You know, like who said you can be that and this and that and this? Like, no, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept that answer. And I always think you make the rules. Clearly, there are certain things that just natural to life, but you can make the rules about yourself. And if you wanna be a movie director and a business owner of beauty brand, why not?
I have so many things I love and feel so passionate about.
So big.
And I went through a phase where I was like, oh, I guess I'm choosing this path, so I'm never going to be able to be on Broadway or do acting or whatever. And recently, I've just been like, you know what? I have gotten everything. Maybe not exactly how I saw it, but I've gotten everything I've put my mind to. And who's to say that I cannot be on stage one day, that I cannot, be on TV, that I cannot run a successful company, have a successful podcast, and also be on the stage in Broadway. Like the only person that's saying whether or not I can try to do that and put effort towards that is me.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
cool. And I see that in you too. And I think I see it in the way you run your business too. Like the fact that you are getting to integrate all these parts of yourself is so beautiful.
I love that. I think it's beautiful. That's what keeps me going and gets me inspired every day, that I actually can now remembering that astrologer, like it actually does make sense. Every experience.
Who's worth the money?
He was worth the money, apparently. That every experience shaped me. And who knew that, I was our photographer for 2 years starting the business, like 3 years, because we couldn't afford it. And we started business with nothing. Like, how many times starting this business, people told us, or not directly necessarily, but through like, that's impossible. Like 99% of businesses fail in the first year. And you have to have $10 million backing and all these things. Hearing those things, you might as well check yourself into a mental hospital, because you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Everyone tells me that it's not possible.
Yeah.
What am I doing actually? But there's just one way forward.
Yeah. I love when people try to tell me I can't do things.
Yeah. Look, watch that. We'll see each other in a year.
I know.
You'll see that I did exactly what you told me I
funny.
cannot do.
When I was younger, everyone used to tell me that I could like never be blonde. And so 5 years ago, I went platinum.
No.
I have to show you a picture. See the photo, it actually was really good. I loved it. It's just very expensive.
Your hair is
and
incredible.
Crying. Thank you.
Wow.
Berber.
Wow.
But I went platinum, and I feel like it was such a small, stupid way of saying, though, something that's really big and integrated in my life, which is that I always do what people think they can't do. I encourage people and my friends and the people I care about in my life too, anytime they say they can't do something, I'm like, you can if you want.
Yeah.
Like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the same way I feel about my life. Like, if I want something, I usually can make it happen in pretty quickly, even too, like in some way, shape, or form, or start working for it. We keep ourselves in boxes, especially when it comes to money, too.
Oh, 100%. I have no walls. I'm not in a box.
Well, if anyone can speak to this, it's you. Like, you came to America with nothing. You are the co-founder of a successful company. How do you view money?
I look at money as energy. And listen, I don't come from a very wealthy family, or I've seen my mom really grind to provide, I just always felt that I cannot feel guilty spending money. I cannot feel like I'm poor, or even when I had no money, I never felt poor. I don't know how to explain that. It was just, I always knew it's coming. It was a belief that was within me that I always knew, okay, it's going to come no matter what, because it's just going to come. And sometimes it would be magical ways, like some check will show up. Whatever you think about the world will prove it to you, right? So if you think about money that is it's not an access, you don't have it, you don't deserve it, it will mirror it back. I truly believe. I truly believe that's why sometimes we talk to people and we're like, do we live in different universes? Like, how are we on the same, we walk in the same earth, but we, like, I completely don't get what you're saying, or I'm not aligned. But I think it's truly because the world will mirror exactly what you believe in about the world.
Yeah. And I think to view the world the way you want it to appear, you have to be able to expand your mind. Like you have to be able to be like, this is possible. So funny. I like recently was talking to a friend, and he's trying to like build a business right now in his industry that doesn't exist. He's trying to build something that exists. I keep trying to be like, you should do this. And he's like, well, that's not how it works. Like he keeps telling me like, that's not how it works. And I was like, create it then. Yeah. Like show people why it should work. Yeah. And that's always how my brain has been. I believe that the universe and the world is malleable. Yeah. So to me, it's like, if I hear someone be like, well, that's not how things work. I'm like, well, can it work? And can you make it work? And can you show people how it can work? And I think when you expand what you know to be true, which is what we're taught, which is not always true, you can do more than you think you're ever capable of. I mean, I look at it from a mental health perspective too. Like I was in the depths of depression and anxiety. Like I saw the world very just in darkness, you know? That's all I knew. And I have a choice if I want to reshape the way I see the world. Like, and it's a hard choice. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. Depression is hard. But even like growing up with a chaotic family and like kind of a toxic mom, like I definitely have trust issues. And like what I'm working on now is like, how can I expand my mind to believe that maybe you can trust people? Maybe people are good. Maybe people can care about you. And I can keep sitting here and being like, well, no, like my evidence has shown me this. Therefore, like I can't trust anyone. But isn't that up to me? Yeah. How do you expand? Oh, God. I think it's like what we're saying, repetition. You have to be able to take a leap and a chance on yourself. And I think not be afraid of failure. We as people conditioned to be afraid of it for some reason, but child learning to walk falls all the time. It's just natural progression of how to get from point A to point B. I think failure is inevitable. And again, it's how you frame it. You can learn from it and you will learn from it, or it can paralyze you. Yeah. And I think failure is just necessary. Yeah. Well, it's a part of life. Again, like back to our whole point about like anxiety, fear, sadness, they're all just, they're human emotions. Yeah. Failure is just like a part of the experience. Like you can't be perfect. I love that. It's just part of it. It's kind of like. And I think you can start small too, like start breaking rules that like are small and don't have like a high risk factor involved. Yeah. And it will like start to empower you. I hate to say it like this, but like there are winners and losers in life. Like that is the way it works. And like I'm always going to be the person that questions the rules, that figures out how I can get to the front of a line, who figures out how I can park in an area. We're so alike. I know. I love that. Well, I think it's a characteristic of people who have businesses and who are successful. They don't keep themselves constricted to the rules of the world. Yeah. I recognize the rules as something the world created. Again, the world is malleable. You can make it what you want. And again, I don't think that means be disrespectful. I think it means push boundaries that people try to keep you in. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Push boundaries. That's my, what is it, mojo? Your motto. It's the way you're living life. Yeah. Push all boundaries. I always, and people get annoyed with me. Like a lot of the times my friends are like, stop being like that. And I'm sure they probably like it and hate it, but I can't help myself. I don't want anyone to keep themselves small. Yes. I'm a living, breathing example that you can persevere. Just think big, might as well. You either try
and fail, or you don't try and you just automatically fail.
Yeah. You have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose. You don't try, you fail no matter what.
Well, and I've learned like the people who like don't like when people press the rules are encouraging everyone to be bigger and like push the boundaries. I think for them, it comes from a place of insecurity because they want to be like that, like deep down, like they want to feel like they can take a risk or that they can push the boundaries. And I think it's as simple as just making the choice. Tell me more about Berber. I love the products. All the it girls are obsessed with Berber. I'm obsessed with the product. I've been using it for my slick backs. I've been using it before I do my blowouts. I put it in my hair and make sure that I have like the growth serum in there.
Yeah.
The brushes are insane. I've tossed all of my nasty brushes and upgraded to Berber on everything. You guys, they're like wooden. They're beautiful. Tell me about like, where was the birth of the brand? You were doing creative, you were doing cameras, shoots, all this stuff. When did it pivot to you deciding that you were going to start a business and a business in hair care?
I never thought that would actually happen. And that's interesting that life led this way. But as I said, my grandma is a very important person to me. And when she passed, I was thinking, how can I make her like presence felt always? Like I almost wanted to create like a monument for her in a way. And simultaneously at that time, Anna, our co-founder, my best friend, started losing hair because she moved from Russia to America.
Aww.
And she was so stressed. She brought all her family, and we were mixing the mask again. We brought it back from the archives, and
so this is the mask that your grandma would make for you guys in Russia.
Yes, from burdock. Burdock oil was the main ingredient, then egg and honey. There's just a bunch of stuff from the fridge, and I was making it for her and my pregnant friend at that time. Everyone was like, loved the mask and the recipe, and she said, wow, if only this, because it's such a mess in the kitchen when you do this, if only this could be a product. If only this would be a product, this would be an amazing product. And no one knows about burdock in America. And it's such a known ingredient back home for hair growth. So that's how it was born. We each put $500 to this business course and took the course and gave us kind of first steps of how to start a business.
Wow. And it just leapt from there.
I think it was just such a big connection to my grandmother, because I remember her hair in Russia is very, it's important, you know. We hide hair when we go to church. It's long hair, sign of vitality and things like that. It's very big in folklore.
Like it's like a luxury to have nice hair.
Yes, and I think it's very cultural. It has cultural significance. So I remember her braiding my hair, using the recipe on me, and it was just such a love language, and it made complete sense. I was like, wow. Now I'm thinking so many people have like a piece of my grandma, and it's so dear to me.
Well, and hair is so vulnerable for women.
Yes.
So vulnerable. Like,
and
if you're losing hair, well, yeah, for sure. In your culture, probably a little bit different. But I do think here too, like when a woman has beautiful hair and you have a fresh blowout and it just looks thick and healthy, you feel confident, you feel good. And when it's brittle and breaking and it's not what you know it can be, it makes you feel insecure and not confident. And so to create a product that like builds up people's self-love and confidence is beautiful.
Absolutely. And I think generally what I noticed in the West, right, in America, we have 9 steps, skin routines, right, serum and this and that, but nobody takes care of scalp. It's not like common, right? And then naturally, of course, our scalp is skin, so it's going to age. You will experience hair loss or hair brittleness or dryness no matter what, just because that's natural signs of aging. But how do you prevent it? How do you take care of your hair and of your scalp? So you create the better environment for your hair to grow. I always make an analogy that it's your hair and your scalp. It's like a plant. And the better water you give, the more nutrients you give to this plant, it grows strong and blushes and green and gives you flowers. And if you kind of abandon it, it dries and dies.
I've never thought about my scalp as aging skin.
Yeah.
Seriously, that just blew my mind. That blew my mind because I am anal about my face. Like
And you have a beautiful one.
Thank you. I put so many products. I get my hydrofacials. I'm like retinol, all the medical grades, but I've never thought about my scalp.
Yeah, and then it's only natural. You will experience hair loss, and at any age, really.
Yeah.
Really, like hair problems can come at any age. So I don't think it's something you have to do like once. Oh, now it's too late. Same like once your plant is dead, it's dead. You know, you want to nourish your scalp, and you want to start from the scalp, and you want to make sure that you're using right products for your hair.
Yeah.
And I think creating something natural that is clean and you're not afraid of using all the time, it was something very important for me, because I feel like I actually we didn't talk about it, but I went to university for chemistry and technology.
Of course you did.
So not that I know anything about chemistry really, but a little bit, but I've kind of, geek out on ingredients. So I look at ingredients for lots of clean brands, or so to speak, clean brands, and I wouldn't be using those.
Yeah.
Like
they're not actually clean.
Yes, they maybe not researched enough. Some ingredients not researched enough, but there's so much goes into creation of a product. I think that was really important for us to create something that really adheres to the standards.
Walk me through a morning night routine if we were just using Berber.
So our lineup is expanding, which is super exciting.
So excited.
But my nighttime routine, I use Dermaroller twice a week, especially on problematic zones. I use my hair, I put my hair up a lot, so it creates kind of a lot of tension, that's where the hair thinning the most.
That's where I've been using your guys' serum too.
Yeah, so I do Dermaroll my scalp. Then I use our growing season oil. And I've noticed a lot through my hair journey that my hair just don't grow. I was like, why? It seems like they're growing, but what's going on? Why it doesn't change length? And learning more about hair, I realized that a lot of the times your hair just so dry it breaks faster than it can grow. So what's amazing about growing season, you can apply it all over your hair. And doing so, I mean, my hair never been longer in my entire life. It's just so long and so healthy. I just went to go get a haircut, and he was like, wow, your hair's so long and so healthy. I can't believe that.
Berber.
That's
no, so
Berber.
I've been putting it in my ends, especially because I try to go as long as possible without washing my hair. So I'll put it on the parts of like where I'm like losing hair because of my slick backs, because it like starts to thin out where the ponytail is pulling. And then when I'm still have fresh hair, I'll put it at the bottom and just like put it in my air, like with my brush and air wrap. So I'll like put some oil at the bottom,
I love that.
brush it, and then I'll like air wrap the bottom so I get like fresh flip, because I don't care if the bottom of my hair is oily. I just don't want the top oily.
Yeah.
So I feel like it looks so much shinier and prettier, and everyone will say like, oh my God, did you just get a blowout? I'm like, no, I actually just got it a week ago. It just looks fresh because I'm putting the oil at the bottom.
Love that. Yeah, I reapply it every day on my ends because my ends tend to be dry. So I reapply it daily, and then twice a week I do the full system. And then we have amazing brushes that you spoke about. We can't keep them in stock. I really want to make a documentary about how these brushes are made. We just went to Korea and learned about it. And it's just truly artistic process of making a brush. Like if you're an artist, truly everything you do in life could be artistic. It's a couple in Korea. They make brushes for 30 plus years. They hand carve them. The way of polishing is special technique from Japan. And it takes weeks and weeks on end to make one brush. It basically takes 3 months to make the brushes.
I mean, you can tell it literally looks like a work of art. Like it matches my house. Like that's why I like them.
Gorgeous. We wanted to create something for your vanity that you feel gorgeous.
Well, I'm like a messy girl. I would like to think that I would. No, but like I'm just chaotic. I'm a mess. My stuff's everywhere. And like I would like to be the person that like puts their brush away and their makeup away, but I'm not. And so like now I feel like I can just throw it on my counter and it actually like looks beautiful because it's this wooden, beautiful brush. And you guys have the minis and you have the big. So I like keep my mini with me in my purse.
Oh my God. I travel with mini everywhere and it's so great for slick back. Slick back bun, Berber slick back bun is like a thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to use 10 products to make this baby shine. Berber is a new go-to for slick back.
It's genius. I'd never thought to put like growth serum oil in my hair for my slick backs. It's genius.
Right?
I never thought of it. And I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense to do. And at least I know, like, I'm slicking my hair back a lot and maybe it's not great for it, but at least I know I have a growing serum in there.
Exactly. We grew 20 times from 2024 to 2025, which was crazy for us. Last year was year of expansion and this year is year of experience. I'm so excited to create experiences for people beyond products. We're going to Revolve together.
Yes, we're going to the desert
That's
together.
so cool. We've been number one on Revolve ever since we launched there. And it's just, it makes me so happy that people love it. Like, I have the highest gratitude for that. And we launching at Credo on April 2nd.
So exciting.
Going to New York, going to have an event. I hope you're going to be there.
Of course.
We can discuss.
Just let me know. We're going to be friends for life. Like, yes. I hope you know. Business-wise,
you're inspiring. I want to hear your story.
Maybe you shouldn't go back. Maybe you should stay for a little bit. You're probably so proud. I mean, I can imagine, like, I feel like this question and my last question I always ask is going to intertwine. So I'm going to ask it. The last question I ask everyone on the podcast. I can imagine looking back at everything you've been through, like the little girl who was in Russia who believed that they were meant for more. And now growing 20 times this last year, your company, you didn't even think you were going to be an entrepreneur. Looking back, like, how do you see it all?
I couldn't imagine that it's going to go this way, but this is so much more rewarding than I ever had an idea of how my life will go. I get to help people. I get to inspire people. I really hope people get inspired. And the takeaway from this interview is that you can do it all. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Just trust yourself. And I think one thing that I look back, that's what I had. I always trusted myself. I always believed in myself, and I was my biggest fan. Sometimes it's hard for us. You know, the world tells us so many things. Sometimes it can go directions, but I always come back to me.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's more than I could ever ask for. And I'm just getting started. We're just getting started. And Berber is such an incredible way for me personally, and I'm sure for my partner, to express ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're such an inspiration to me, and I know this community is going to be so inspired by this episode.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to put the link to shop everything below.
Yes,
do you guys do discount codes?
Yeah.
Should we do a discount code for the pod audience? Code,
yeah.
Maybe like How I See It 10.
How I See It. Let's just do How I See It.
How I See It.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love that. So wow, that just tied
I know
the whole thing.
I know. I was like, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm like, maybe we offer it for people can experience this product. I think this product isn't just a product, it's your story. It's the fruits of your labor. Mm-hmm. Like, you worked every day to get here. You said yes when the world says no. And I think that's what it takes. It takes saying yes when the world says no. And so thank you so much for being here and just sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. It was so lovely. And well, you know, we'll be friends for life.
I know. I'm so excited. Please share where people can follow you. I don't know if you...
I don't have Instagram. Is it crazy?
I think it's like actually the most cool girl thing I have ever heard in my life, especially since you're like so gorgeous, have the best style in a successful company, and you're just like, I don't have socials.
Thank you.
Share Berbers, and then where they can follow, and then where they can shop.
Berber Care is our Instagram. Berber.com is our website.
I'm just going to start forcing you into my content.
Ooh, I would love. Let's do collabs.
Yes.
I love collabs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you leave here feeling motivated and inspired. Do not forget to rate and review the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and don't forget to follow How I See It Pod so you can keep up with podcast updates and see who's coming on next. And if you're not already, come join the fam and follow at How Han Sees It. Thank you guys.